Today I'm talking about Maya, Mayhem, Mysticism, and magic. And you can add another M word, mystery. So, what are we dealing with when we deal with reality? Recently, Olga Lucia and I had an opportunity for just a few days to go to the Big Island and, experience a little time away. I did some paddle boarding and swimming. Absolutely no pain. First time in my memory. Yeah, it's wonderful. For those who don't know, I had an artificial shoulder put in. It doesn't feel artificial at all. It feels wonderful. But when you're on vacation, have you ever heard anyone say, well, now it's time to go back to reality? No? Okay. I've heard that many times. What is reality? What is this that we're living in? Why is it so difficult? Why do we experience trauma? Why do we experience suffering? Why do we experience loss and grief? Why do we experience all the things that we experience in this human life? Disappointments, hurt, suffering. Why? First, I want to talk about Maya and the nature of Maya. Now, Jesus talked about it. He said, in this world, you will have many troubles. But he said, peace I give to you. All right, so just hang on. But Jesus spoke about Maya. Vedic scriptures talk about Maya. From India, they describe Maya as being the servant of God to help lead us to God. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Why would God allow something that has suffering and confusion and trauma and distress in it? Why? Why would God do that? It's an opportunity. You're right. Now, I remember years and years ago, any of you here remember Dick Cavett? Oh, a number of you do. Okay, Dick Cavett. Dick Cavett was one of those who did not believe in God. Very engaging person, delightful personality. I loved his intellect. And he said that if he has the chance for there to be an afterlife, what he would do is to take a piece of cancerous bone and hold it up to God and say, what kind of God could you be to allow this? It's a good question. And by the way, you are not to leave your brain at the door when you come to Unity. We enjoy critical thinking. We enjoy exploration. We enjoy people having different perspectives. We enjoy diversity. We celebrate it. We don't just accept it. But Maya, let me share a little story with you. So there was a man who went to a friend's house. He had been invited to the friend's house. At the front gate, it said, beware of dog. You ever been to one of these places? Maybe you live there. He comes to the front gate, and sure enough, up comes the dog, barking and growling ferociously, jumping at him, just held back by the gate. The dog would surely tear him apart if it had the chance. So the person thought, well, let me check around to the back gate. Well, the dog anticipates this, smells him, sees him, and beats him there to the back gate just to meet him there, to growl and to be jumping at the gate. So what does the man do? What would you do? Not use pepper spray. He calls out for his friend. Now, what I would do is I'd call on the phone. But he calls out to his friend. And his friend comes out and says to his dog, Tommy, Tommy, this is a friend. I want you to sit here and be nice to our friend. Sit here and be still. And then the man enters in, and the dog is friendly. Now, in this story, the dog serves the purpose of getting the man to reach out to the friend inside the house. In the same way, the challenges, the opportunities in our lives are opportunities to call out to God, to call out to our true source, to call out to the true essence of our being. Now, here's something I want to share with you. Why on earth would a minister want to get away for a few days? Why? I mean, it's the best job on earth. I work with wonderful people. Really, I'm very fulfilled in what I do. Why would I need to get away? Well, once in a while, the pressures of this position get to me. Once in a while. I mean, it's just part of it. I'm okay. Not going anywhere. But we're human, aren't we? And so I just needed to take a little break. And I allowed myself to do that so that I can be fully present here. And while I was there, I had times of meditation by the ocean. Where we stayed was right by the ocean. And so it included times where I would sometimes get away by myself at night and just sit by the ocean. And I could hear this inner voice telling me, it's all okay. Do you trust me? It's all okay. You are doing exactly what you need to be doing. You are exactly where you need to be. I'm with you always. It's nice to have those reminders. I hope you find such reminders. That is the purpose of Maya. Maya is a Sanskrit word. Means sometimes it's translated as illusion. But in this case, like in the Vedic scriptures and the Bhagavad Gita, Maya is actually an energy of God to help us to remember to return back to God, to return back to our source, to return back to our true and highest self. So, Maya, mayhem. Maya can create mayhem in our lives. Am I the only one who ever gets caught up in drama? Who had any drama this week? Okay. Wow. Just maybe a fourth of you had drama in your week. That's amazing. Those of you who don't have any drama in your life, we have lots of volunteer opportunities here, and we would love your energy here on campus, you know. Life seems to bring up drama. Life seems to bring up challenges. Have you noticed? Losses, grief, pain. I can remember when I was going through a divorce. It was brutal on me. My eye twitched for 9 months without stopping. 9 months. Like, I'd look in the mirror and I said, would you just stop? But it couldn't stop. And all the pain that was going on inside of me, it was torturous. I felt like I was being ripped from the inside out. I didn't even know for sure who I was, where I was going, what I was about. It was like having an open heart surgery but not being closed. Like you got opened up and like, okay, go out there, do your work, raise your son. It was brutal. It was hard. And of all places, Guess where I was working at the time? Any guesses? Psychiatry. Perfect. So I was working in psychiatry, and I was doing counseling and leading groups, helping people with their grief issues. And between groups, I would find a quiet place to just sob. And then I'd come back so that I could be fully and completely present right where I was at. And at times I would say to God, this is killing me. I feel like this is killing me. But what it did was to help push me to a higher purpose. What it did was to help push me deeper and deeper into who I'm really here to be. What it helped to do was to take away the facade that I was carrying around so that I could go deeper. So Maya and Mayhem led to mysticism in my life. And by mysticism, I'm not talking necessarily about mystical powers. What I'm talking about is direct experience of the divine, direct experience of oneness, direct experience of what we are here to do, direct experience of God, direct experience in my life of Jesus, of Krishna, direct experience where I know that I know that I know that I am here with God. Everybody can say, no, you're making it up. It's some brain chemistry. It's serotonin. It's whatever. Great. But I know. I know that I know that I know. Have you ever had that I know that I know that I know experience of what is real, what is absolute, that which is not transitory, that which is not going to be temporary, that which you can ground your life upon, the ground of your being? Have you had that direct experience? Not just cerebral, not just trying to intellectually assent to it, but a real experience of it. That's part of what in the We Space group that a number of you have signed up for, hopefully we will be able to incubate, that we will be able to experience on a personal level and as a group that direct connection with the divine. And it's our birthright. It's here all the time, right inside of us. I remember looking at my computer and it said Intel inside. Within you is the divine presence. Within you is this. Within you is what you have been seeking for. Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, 1 Corinthians chapter 6, other places, that we are the temple of the Holy Spirit, that God lives within us. Vedic scriptures say that the Paramatma, God, lives, dwelling within us, that God is animating and living as us. Imagine, all around us. So imagine a fish going to another fish and saying, I've heard of water, but I'm not sure that water exists. And the other fish responds, well, you don't have to believe that it exists, but you live and flow and swim in this presence. Call it what you will. So, Maya, Mayhem, mysticism, and magic. When we get in touch with our source, when we get in touch with God, when we get in touch with our higher self, then we get in touch with the magic that it can occur in our lives. The magic of connecting with others. It was so fun to be at this place that we were staying, and to connect with others, complete strangers. But I found there are no such thing as strangers. There really are no such thing as strangers. There are only people with whom I am one that I haven't met yet. And so we connect and we laugh. And it's like, oh, they come from different places. One of them from Wichita, Kansas. And I'm like, what? And it's so fun on the Big Island. Okay. To connect with people from all over the place. The magic that can occur in your life occurs by way of transformation. There are many people who do work to help us when we are going through traumatic situations in our lives to find the transformation in that trauma. Trauma can be an opening to a whole new world. When I went through these traumatic circumstances, I recreated my whole life. I would not be here now had I not done that work. You know? I remember a church leader who put his arm around me when I was going through all this, and he said, "Are you going to be all right? Are you going to make it? You look kind of frail. You look kind of, you're soft-spoken and you're this and you're that. I'm concerned that you will not be able to make it through this trauma, that you will not survive this." I will not tell you the words that came up in my mind. The initials are FU. Forever yours? No. Because within us there is a strength, a resilience that can never be defeated. It can never be divided, diluted, diminished in any way. Within you is the presence that created everything. Within you is the wisdom, the intelligence of all the ages. Within you is the power of God living as you. Whatever you want to call it, the force, the energy, this power is living as you. Are you resilient? Are you resilient?
Yes.
Absolutely you are. You are a hero. You've made it through many difficulties. You've made it through amazing situations. But all of it has had a purpose in helping to create who you really are. To help reveal that. It all has a purpose. And here's where mystery comes in. The fifth M, mystery. It's sometimes mysterious how it's all working out. How could this possibly be working out for my good? In the Christian scriptures, Romans chapter 8, verse 28, Paul said, all things work together for good. For those who love God. All things work together for good. And there have been times like, how is this going to work out for my good? As one person said, there's a pony in this poo. There is something in this that is good for me, that's helping to create who I'm here to be. There's deep wisdom that we find, and that's our power of the month, wisdom. There's deep wisdom that comes through going through and embracing whatever we're experiencing. So here's what I would encourage you to do. Whatever you are experiencing in life, embrace it. Rather than trying to run from it, embrace it. When I was going through those traumatic situations in my life, I embraced it. I held on to it. I refused to let go of it until it would give me a blessing. Just as Jacob in the Hebrew Scriptures wrestled with the angel of the Lord all night until it would bless him, I refused to let any of this go until I received the blessing in it. Embrace whatever it is you're experiencing. Feel it. Embrace the support that you have around you. There are people who love you. There are people who care about you. Believe it or not, there's people who pray for you every day. You may not know who they are. I'm one of them. There's more watching. Maybe others here do as well. You are loved. You are important. We are more because you are here. So we want you to embrace the support that is here for you. And that's part of why we're creating this beloved community. That's an important part of the beloved community, is to support and encourage one another so that we can transform from trauma into triumph. Transformation from trauma to triumph. Embrace that presence of God. Embrace that presence of truth. Embrace that highest self. Embrace that, knowing that you are resilient. I believe in you. We believe in you. Whatever you are facing in your life, there is purpose in it. And so I'm going to add a sixth M word. So we go from Maya to mayhem, to mysticism, to magic, to mystery about how all of this is working, to majesty. Working our way to majesty in our lives. Thank you. In this time of meditation, I invite you to take a deep breath and center into that presence of God, that presence of peace, that presence of your real self. Perhaps there is your spiritual guide showing up. And in this moment, just breathe into that. Breathe into this presence, this divine presence with whom you have direct connection. Whether you are grieving, traumatized, challenged, or whether everything is going fine, breathe into this, knowing that this is your true essence as we go into a minute of silence. God, we give thanks for this presence living in, through, and as us. This presence that makes it possible to live, move, have our being right here, right now. And for this we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.